Are you
Yep,
set?
I'm all good to go.
All right, on your mark, get ready, get set. Here it is, our fourth guest of the night, Pollythemus. Hello. Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi. It looks like we're facing each other now in this conversation. It's great.
That's perfect.
We're just in the same room.
Excellent.
Don't be ridiculous.
I mean, with the fuzz, you can't even tell, right?
Right, it's impossible. I mean, that might as well be my room. I mean,
Okay.
come on. If I hold on real quick. If I just really quickly oh, that's the wrong thing. If I do this, like, we're basically in the same room. Look at this. It's just the extension of the green
Identical,
screen. It's identical.
right?
Identical. Same room.
Just camera angles, you know?
Yeah,
All
just
that
camera
stuff.
angles. That's it. It's smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome in. How are you doing?
Pretty good. It's a long weekend, but I'm enjoying it so far.
I feel that. I feel that. So, tell us about yourself, your community, your streams. What do you do?
Okay. So, my name is Polythemus. We have Goose the Dragon, who's kind of blurred out over here. Let's see if I can show him off real quick.
Oh, Goose!
This is Goose the real dragon.
Goose!
He streams with me most days. We have video evidence to prove that he's a real dragon, not just a beardy. We used to do variety video games. We do a lot of charity streams, a lot of events and streamathons. Lately, though, what we've been doing primarily is pixel art. Can I do a screen share with you real quick?
Sure.
It's easier to show than tell.
Sure. Go for it.
Okay.
Just tell me when it's ready before I click on it.
Where'd it go? Screen.
And I'm going to do a fancy transition. I was not told about this beforehand, but it's going to be great because I know how to transition this quickly.
Okay, should be all set.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
So, I make VTuber models in pixel art of various animals, and in this case, it was a Pokemon. And then we add different animations to them, also on stream. And it's quite fun. We have a lot of different characters with a lot of different animations. Let's see if I can show. I'll just show off one more real quick.
Weed cat. Smash or pass, Waba? Smash.
We did this one for a recent charity event.
Yes, let's go trans rights.
Yep, we were collecting money for the Trans Law Center in response to all of the laws being passed across the various states in the United States. We ended up collecting $3,000 total, which was way more than we were ever expecting. So
that's amazing.
This is what I made for my segment on it, and I'm quite pleased with it. But yeah, I just wanted to share that real quick. We can turn this off now real quick. But that is most of what we do. So we'll spend like a stream creating a character in the first place and like a basic animation set. And then hopefully this didn't crash my thing. And then we'll do another stream where we add a bunch of other animations to it.
That's so fucking creative. That's really cool.
Yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I just had an idea for one character. It was around Halloween, funny enough. I made one character of Goose wearing a pumpkin head. And that was before I was doing pixel art at all, but that's how I figured out about the program. And then I did one stream of pixel art because I had an idea of making an updated Goose character without the pumpkin. And that's just kind of, after I started doing it, I just kept doing it, and I've been doing that for months now.
That's
quite fun.
So awesome. I love that for you.
It's such a unique niche, too. Like, there's a lot of VTubers, and there's a lot of art streamers, but there's not a lot of specifically pixel art streamers, and there's not a lot of people who show the creation process of making a
Yeah, I honestly can't say I've seen a pixel art streamer.
Yeah, so normally when I'm streaming, I'm pretty sure I'm like top 10, like guaranteed, just because there's no one in the category, you know?
Wait, is this a specific category?
There's a tag for it. I don't know how it tracks me in the algorithm.
Like pixel art tag?
Yeah, like there's a pixel art tag.
Yeah. Do you stream to art category? I'm guessing.
I stream to the art category with pixel art
Pixel
and
art.
character creation and
There you go.
VTuber normally.
There you go. Yeah, that's it. Boom. I love that. That's really cool.
I'm really pleased with how the channel's been progressing.
I'm so happy for you, honestly. And it sounds like you're super happy with it.
Yeah, I have to admit, there's been times where I felt like I was floundering as a streamer, but I've been really enjoying currently. Like, for instance, I count my 1 year anniversary as January because I was streaming in like October, whatever, but I had like I didn't know what I was doing to the degree where it was like it was non-watchable content. Like
Right.
I am so proud of everyone who, or so happy for everyone who actually watched me when I was doing that, because like my microphone was garbage and like terrible camera, like awful gameplay, just awful content. But I finally come into my own, and it's quite nice. However, we're talking about how it has affected my life and vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, that's the titular question, is how has content creation affected your mental health and vice versa? Two different questions.
And here's the other side of the coin. So I'm quite happy with my content right now, but for the last like 3 months, my company has been on severe overtime.
Your company?
We're talking, yeah. So I work as a forklift operator.
Right.
And we handle empties for many like large companies. So it's all empty containers, but we're like a throughput area. And if people remember recently, John Deere had a large strike, and it delayed production by about a month and a half. And then the strike ended, and all of that production had to go through immediately. So we've just been completely bombarded. So while being on stream is the best thing for my mental health these days, like it's just hanging out with my friends. It's where I enjoy myself most of all. It's my favorite place to be. I've been having to cancel a lot of streams. I had to take like 2 weeks off for a while there just because the overtime was too ridiculous.
Right.
I am back to regular streaming.
Which is awesome.
But, you know, it can get severely overwhelming at times. If you're working like I was, let's say 60 hours a week, let's say you then stream 3 days a week on top of that. So I do 3-hour streams, so that's a good like 9 hours right there. I also moderate for a couple channels. So that's probably another 10 to 11 hours of my week spent on moderating. And then I spend like another 5 or 6 hours on like editing and updating programming and playing in OBS and looking for new things to add to my channel. And when it's all said and done, you're working like 80-hour weeks, and
I was about to say, this sounds like a lot of time for other people and not much for yourself, really.
You'd be surprised. I spend most of my time alone. And there's a reason that I like being a forklift operator, because it gives me like 6 hours of my day are like pretty much guaranteed spent in solitude. And I like having a lot of time to just kind of think and process. And I do like little micro meditations throughout the day, mindfulness practices.
I love that.
That kind of thing.
Like what, for example?
Breathing routines, and on my breaks, I normally try to do like a 10 to 15 minute meditation session, and that kind of thing.
Do you have like a go-to like video or something, recording?
Most of my stuff is breathing focused and like doing sensory like testing. So like you'll draw awareness to your feet, and then you'll like bring the awareness up through your body, like just trying to sense all of the different like
bottom to top
nerves and everything,
awareness.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes. And building your energy and flowing it through your breath. Yes. I love those.
So I do a lot of those kinds of things to try to maintain myself. But while it's a lot of time being invested in this, if I look at what I was doing before I was streaming, most of that time I was just playing video games alone anyway.
Oh,
Because,
so it just kind of works out, right?
So I'm just like, it's probably healthier for me. I'm actually learning stuff. Um, I'm doing some form of pseudo social activity.
I
Um,
100% think streaming is social.
yeah, like I don't know. I feel like it's one of the healthier things in my life, but it's one of those things where it's like the cost associated with it is very equivalent. So it's very very good for me, but like you got to make it worth your time one way or another. Like
Yeah,
it's coming out of you as much as it's putting into you.
that's true.
I like to
Um,
think of it as trading off my physical well-being for my mental well-being, and you gotta make sure to
hmm.
keep that balance in check, which is why I've had to cancel streams lately, because you have to keep that balance and that ratio.
What does streaming drain for you the most?
Um, it's mostly just the fact that I'm already so physically like drained from work.
Right.
I don't know if you have experience driving a forklift,
Not
but
personally, no.
just the passive vibration of sitting on a forklift all day for
The
like six
machinery.
to 8 hours just
Right.
is very taxing on your body. And a lot of it is very like hand intensive too.
Right.
So you go from doing one very hand intensive activity to then going to sitting at your computer doing another very hand intensive activity. And I have arthritis caused by a broken wrist in this
Right.
hand.
Ouch.
So, there are some limitations that I have to keep in mind some of the time, make sure that I'm not overexerting certain things.
That makes sense. So your physical being is just hugely tired, and then getting yourself to sit down to stream is just like the mental. I mean, I guess do you find streaming to be overall more filling mentally or taxing? I suppose.
Um,
I don't know. I'm trying to ask here.
I find that while I'm currently in a stream,
Mm-hmm.
it is the best part of my week. Like, hands down. Just currently being in a stream is the best part of my week, pretty much every time. However,
Whether that's streaming yourself or modding for someone, you mean? But
right.
okay,
Even
yeah.
moderating for friends, that kind of thing. Like Hamel Kid is probably the person I'm the most dedicated for, and
Oh yeah.
also great part of my week. But like you get off work and you're on like an hour or two of overtime for that day, let's say, and so you get home and you have to manage to look presentable, get your whole stream set up, get some food in you, and get the stream done in time to be able
Right.
to then get to bed at an appropriate time because I wake up at 4:30 every morning for work.
Sure.
So
Wow.
just that energy balance right there is already a very tight line, you know.
How do you do it? I mean, I know you're probably about to say a lot of caffeine.
I do like coffee.
Yes.
Right now I'm drinking energy drinks. I try to avoid them now
Oh boy.
because in high school I was abusive with them, like to my own body, abusive.
How so?
Um,
Like you just drink them all the time, 24/7?
okay, so you know how there's a 24-ounce can of this?
Yes, that's Rockstar, right?
Yep. So the 24-ounce is I don't even know what the caffeine content is, but
You're
it's
gonna
more
give
than
me
you should
anxiety
probably.
saying it.
Yeah, it's more than you should drink in a day. I think it's somewhere around 300 to 400 grams in caffeine alone, but they have other stimulants. I was drinking 3 to 4 of those a day, and that was
Absolutely
back
wild.
when they had those little energy shots too, and I was drinking the little energy shots. I had a couple minor heart attacks, but that has very little to do with streaming. We can get back on topic, but
Having
yeah,
urges.
I probably had 16 to 1800 grams of caffeine on weekends at the time.
Jesus. It's a fucking lot, you know?
Oh yeah, time slows down. It's weird.
So Jesus. So how do you handle everything nowadays? Like what I mean, you're drinking an energy drink right now, which is not
uh
a good example, but
yeah, normally I I do have to admit I have a little bit of an issue with alcohol. I try to stay in a somewhat healthy range. I don't get, shit-faced drunk most of the
Sure.
time. But I definitely drink more than is considered healthy by the Surgeon General.
Yeah.
Um, at the same time, like I said, streaming is both the healthiest and least healthy thing for me. So, whereas it's very draining and taxing, it is also the biggest reward in the week. So, it's the thing that gives me something to look forward to. Um, it gives me something to think about during the day, like planning new streams or new commands and rewards that I want to put on the channel. So, like, one of the things that I do for my channel now, for example, there's a world simulator game called Godbox.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a pixel art one, so it's perfect for the channel. And we leave a simulation running in the background at all times that's like actively, building itself and changing. And people
That's
can use
cool.
channel commands to interact with the world and modify it, or like
Oh, that's
build,
really cool.
build new civilizations and that kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I'm working on right now is there's an integration, a plugin. There we go, a plugin for the board that I use called Leorin board,
Yes.
and it lets me put physical buttons onto the stream, like onto my actual stream, that you can click with your mouse. And
Neat.
there's like a boss character within the game that I want to let chat have control over.
Mm-hmm.
It's been kind of more difficult to program than I've been hoping, but I think it'll be really, really cool. So that kind of stuff, that really, it gets
So
your
so
mental
working
juices
on
going.
this, yeah. Sorry, I was gonna try to summarize.
Yeah, go
Uh,
go for it, go for it.
so it sounds like working on this kind of stuff that like keeps you mentally going to like want to like keep improving the stream and improving like the little world that you're creating, which I think is fucking really cool the way you're describing it.
Hmm.
And I know there's like a lot of technical back work to it, but it's like really cool to me, and I'm sure it's really cool to a lot of people, you know?
I've always said that I'm very momentum driven.
Yeah.
So like the more I'm doing, the more I can do. So if even
That's
if
so
work is
valid.
killing me,
Hmm.
at least it's giving me the momentum and the drive and the passion that I'm then putting into something else to give me more momentum and drive and passion.
I,
I'm trying
I,
to
I,
feed that recursion loop.
I get that completely because my own work just is so draining sometimes. I just like don't want to be there. Like I really just want to be able to do this full time. So it
Hmm.
just drives me to like continue to try and improve my own content constantly and try to like think about ways to like
That's
market
another thing.
myself and think of ways to like make content and stuff. And like there are and like honestly right now I think overall I'm actually in a content lull, I feel, especially on YouTube.
Hmm.
um, and the reason is just because I'm so tired and I'm really burnt out. So I'm trying to respect myself by not like being angry at myself for not creating YouTube content at the moment. You know, I'm just kind of like I'm going to lean on my strengths and use them to bolster my weaknesses at the moment. And just remind myself you're playing the long game, Waba. Like there's nothing wrong with like not having a lot of content right now. Can always have content later.
And one thing I've had to learn about myself from streaming
Mm-hmm.
is I'm a very like bursty producer.
Mm.
So like it might take me a week of like mental planning and fortifying and like getting ready throughout the week to then have like a Saturday or a Sunday where I spend 7 hours in a row and I just pump out something that everyone's like, where the heck did this come from? Like I do little video edits on my channel. I like to put my
Yeah.
bearded dragon into different video clips, and my favorite one is I put the beardy into I'm Blue Abadi Abadai as like
That's
all of
great.
the alien characters, and it's adorable. But I would just sit down and pump it out over like an 8 hour, just like crazy, like ADD hyper focus like session where I'm just like, yeah, I know exactly what the vision is finally, you
So
know?
You just said that you have ADHD or ADD, and you use that to help.
Self-described, but
Sure,
yeah.
it's fine.
Mhm.
I'm not a stickler. I'm not a doctor.
But yeah, I just feel like I had to learn how my brain works, and it's
Absolutely.
very much like I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. There's a mental barrier. I'm blocked, I'm blocked, I'm blocked, and then suddenly the gate drops, and it's like you have like 24 hours, make this happen. And it's like whatever I can put out in 24 hours, like it'll be my vision. But if I don't do it in that 24 hours, the window might be gone. You know?
I get that. I don't have ADHD, but I get that feeling of just like, if I don't do it now because I'm motivated for it, then when? Then it's never going to happen otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Has that ever translated to like pressing go live, for instance?
It definitely used to. Like my first 6 months of streaming, um, hitting the go live button is the hardest part of streaming, or at
Yeah.
least it was at that stage, where it's like I would get all the nerves and the anxiety and the like I'm already so tired, maybe I shouldn't. And then after I hit the button, like all of the endorphins and like the calming, like I'm back in my community feelings would kick in, and then it's a lot
Absolutely.
better. But like you have to push through that barrier in the first place, which is really, really hard some days.
Yeah, I agree. What helps you push through that barrier?
Um, Good question.
Next.
I don't know. I
Fair.
think a lot of it was just like training myself to just do it anyway. Like,
Yeah.
pretty much, I set a rule for myself. Like, if I'm going to cancel, I should be able to give advance notice to my stream. So if it's a
Advance.
few hours in advance and I'm like, I'm already feeling it, I can't handle the stream, I shouldn't be here,
Yeah.
then I'll cancel the stream and I'll feel valid in doing that. But if it's like, 10 minutes beforehand, like, there better be a goddamn good excuse. Like, my building's on fire for the 18th time.
My God.
The usual.
The usual building should not be on fire.
Oh, my building this year has been set on fire a dozen times. We've
Wait,
been
what,
flooded.
actually?
Yeah, we've been flooded 10 times.
Huh?
There was a gang fight in my hallway.
What?
Someone was firing a gun in my back parking lot.
Are y'all okay?
I can't order packages because people just destroy them. They don't even steal them, they just destroy them.
What the fuck? Why?
I don't know.
What did you do?
It's hard to afford living as a single person in
That's
the
true.
city that I live in. So I have to take the lowest, cost apartment building, and you end up with some bad neighbors. There's a
Jesus.
neighbor in my building who had to be evicted twice recently because she was evicted and she broke in through her window and then barricaded the door and window, and then the cops had to forcibly re-evict her.
That's some wild shit.
Yeah, they had to re-evict her, and then they had to like barricade the doors and windows shut for a few weeks to make sure she wouldn't come back. Like it was a whole thing. My place is wild. I share all of it with Twitter, so you guys should all follow me on Twitter. Just saying,
Yeah,
I get
yeah,
some
yeah.
crazy stories. Cough, cough. Self plug.
Oh my God. How does a building get lit on fire so much and drown so much?
Well, there was one lady who set at least like 4 of the fires. Who was also the lady who got evicted. I had to call the cops.
Oh.
I had to call the cops on her because, so it was technically still in the winter when she was being evicted the first time. So the weekend she was supposed to be kicked out by the sheriff, it was deemed too cold and dangerous to evict her forcibly.
Sure.
So they didn't, and she got in a big fight with the landlord and set 2 different fires in a row in the electrical room of our building. And the second time, I came out and was doing some investigating, and she literally like tried to prevent me from going in, and then admitted that she set the fire on purpose because she was upset with the landlord, and I had to call the cops.
Love it here. Hate it here.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Has that affected your stream? Has that affected your mental health?
A number of times.
Yeah.
I've had to cancel a few streams because the power went out from flooding. I had to cancel a few streams because it was too loud from cop or fire sirens outside
Jeez.
or from people fighting in the hallways. Um, and those nights are the worst cancels, by the way. If we want to talk about like the cost ratios, like when you want to stream and you're not allowed to stream, those hurt
Ugh.
so bad.
I agree completely.
Where you were expecting that endorphin boost and you don't get it now. It hurts so bad. You were expecting to hang out with friends, you were expecting this great night, and now you're alone. That
Yeah.
hurts.
God, it's wild to hear this because, like, and honestly, yeah, I'm like extremely like lucky and privileged to like live in a relatively okay area, so like I don't have to worry too much about like outside interference stuff. Um, Although there was that one time, was that on a Mental Health Monday, y'all? Do y'all remember? There's fucking gunshots outside, and that was like the first time that ever happened, and then it turned out it was like a drive-by shooting at the Connor
Oh
over
damn.
there. I'm pretty sure it was like a Mental Health Monday or during like one of these talks as well. I was like, really? Like, why now?
Yeah, that would be an awkward time for that.
Yeah, just all of a sudden I heard bang, 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 and I'm like, what? That it was gunshots.
And
100%.
and then you have to wonder, like, can I keep doing the stream, or do I
Like,
have to like react to this,
do
or
I have
like,
to end right now? Like, is my neighborhood safe?
do I need to help someone or call the
Because,
cops?
well, I called the cops immediately, but so
Right.
did like 10 other people at the same
Hopefully,
time.
yeah.
So it was great. We have a pretty good like block here, I feel, because there's a lot of kids that live around here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
Hopefully, it's a good one then, right?
like it was so wild. It was just like a fucking drive-by shooting here. Sheesh. Shit. Anyway, moving on with our lives. You've mentioned that you have like other mental health stuff going on, and I know we've talked about it before
Mm-hmm.
on stream. How does each of it affect your ability to create or go live or whatever you just perform, I suppose?
Okay, so first off, the only thing that I'm diagnosed with is depression. Just
Sure,
I like to be clear about
that's fine.
that. I was diagnosed with fairly severe depression in high school. I think it's significantly lessened at this stage of my life, but you don't ever recover from depression. It's
Nope.
just kind of part of you. So I also have DID. There are three of us: myself, Ryan, and Sasha. Um, the other two don't really come out much. It's mostly internal. We just kind of converse extensively. For people who don't know, a lot of DID people, actually, the voices are aware of each other and can talk. I also have suspected ADD, as I was talking about before. Lots of like hyper focus, a lot of like distractedness and inability to focus on things that I don't deem important at the time, or like can't just like sometimes you just can't drag yourself into that headspace. I also think I'm probably significantly on the autistic spectrum. Again, self-diagnosed, so your mileage may vary. But yeah, I've always been a little bit weird, a little bit disconnected from other people, socially awkward. I used to read books walking down the hallways at school so that I wouldn't have to interact with people and walk
You're so
at pretty
bad.
much a sprint. um,
Mhm.
so you know, a lot of different things, but I think that this gives me a good outlet where I can interact with people in a very controlled environment on my terms, and everyone's okay with that. Like that's one of the beautiful things about like Twitter and streaming is that like people are totally okay if like, oh, I just need to take this day off, or like, if you're just having a rough day and you're like, you know what, I had this on the schedule, we're switching to this instead because that's what I need right now, and everyone's just all cool with that. Most of the time, people are just there for you, and they're like, whatever works for you, and it's like the coolest thing that like, you know, I'm a very like distracted person because I'm normally working on some project in my head. So it means that like I might go a week or two without talking to someone and not realize that like, oh yeah, like I haven't even spoken to them forever. And in a lot of contexts, people get butthurt about that. As a streamer, everyone's just like, yeah, you're doing like 80 things. That's cool.
It's
Right.
weird that people get butthurt about that. I have friendships where I haven't talked to them, like, for like months at a time, and then I reach out to them, and they're like, "Yo, what's up?"
Yep. I love
You
that
know,
one.
like we're all busy, we're all doing our own thing, we have our own circles, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we have people we focus on, and we usually know like a lot of folks that I've met in the community, in the streaming community, are definitely here for a reason, not just for a season. You know, I can always go back to that friendship. I can always like ask them like, "Hey, do you want to do a collab thing together?" And be like, "Yeah, fuck it, yeah, let's do it."
And that's just a wonderful thing, I think.
It
You know,
is.
just
Absolutely.
that low pressure but like very accepting level of friendship.
I agree. I love it. Um, does any of your mental health stuff kind of help you? Like, does having DID help you stream in a way? Does it help you like be entertaining, say so to speak, or help you do what you want to do?
Um, Not sure if it helps my streaming. I think that I think calling DID necessarily a disorder. I know disorder's in the name.
Yeah,
But
I don't
like,
like it either.
yeah.
Trust me, I'm not a fan.
Assuming that it's inherently negative, I think is kind of an oversimplification of the
Oh,
situation.
I wouldn't assume that at all.
So in my case, I think it was a response to a specific trauma event from many years ago. And I think it actually developed to be a very useful and especially like
Well, that's kind
for
of the
mental
point.
health. Yeah, especially
Yeah.
for mental health, it's very it provides that safety net that everyone
Absolutely.
kind of needs.
The whole point of DID is that it's a coping mechanism. It's just another way people cope.
Mhm.
It's definitely like a quote unquote rare way that people cope, but although birds of a feather, I'm finding all the systems. It's kind of awesome, actually.
It is kind of amazing the number of systems here. I like so the only reason anyone in this community knows, just to put this out there, that anyone knows that I had DID was we were doing a pronouns check. And what I like to do to be cheeky is I like to put she, her / we for my pronouns just to see if anyone even notices. And no one ever notices. And it was immediately caught onto by like 4 people in the community because they're all like, "Oh, we, interesting."
Yo, you too? Hey, what's
Yep.
up?
Just like, oh, well, that was easy. Okay.
Yeah, there is a lot of dissociative. The tag on Twitch I don't like. It's like dissociative disorders, I think, is the tag. But there's a really nice community on Twitch of folks who are systems, and it's so nice.
I like
They're
to
all
just
just
refer
vibing.
to it as like being plural or whatever.
Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
term as well. I've seen the term, just systems or plural.
System's a
later
pretty
fits.
good word. System I have no issue with.
Yeah.
That one's pretty fair.
Oh god, everything's escaping me. Was there? I'm gonna ask Cypress this question. Which is, was there ever a point in time that you almost put an end entirely to streaming your content creation?
Like every month and a half or so.
What is
remember,
that? Yeah.
remember I do have depression, so things happen. But at the same time, especially when I was doing gaming, I had very variable viewership. I would get events where I might get, 15, 20 people in a chat, and I'd be really, really
sure.
happy about that. And then it would drop to my normal viewership, and it might be one day I had 3 people watching me, and one day I had 5,
Sure.
And I fixed a lot of it with like scheduling changes. I found out Monday was a horrible day for me to stream. I no longer stream Mondays whatsoever. Just doesn't work. Tuesday works out really well for me though now. So that was a really good change for me.
Awesome.
I've also found with the art, it has a much more consistent viewership. So like it's really encouraging to just have those people there and just that passive support. It's really nice. Did that answer the question? I kind of forget what the original question was now. I was answering.
Has there ever been a time where you almost put an end entirely to streaming or content creation?
Yeah. So, because of those spikes, you hit a depression low at the same time that you have a low in viewership, and you assume that the one failure is associated with the other being you, and it's really easy to jump conclusions when you're in a depression spiral. So, it's definitely come down to the line. I actually only one time, I was like hovering the delete my channel thing. Just like, just let's call it, because like I said, it does take a lot out of you. Like there's a lot that you put into this, and like. At the time, I was still developing my stream deck, so like there was a lot more behind-the-scenes work than I have to do now to keep things going. So it was even more intensive at the time. So you get to the really, really bad day, and you debate it, because it's really easy to walk away. That's the thing. It's really easy to walk away.
It can be, yeah, absolutely.
Like you don't have to physically say goodbye to people like you would in a real life situation, Like you could technically just delete your account and no one would ever know who you were, where you lived, and you could just vanish into the ether. It wouldn't be a very nice thing to do, but it can be really tempting sometimes when you're feeling depressed and you want to just vanish, Maybe that's just me.
I mean, I get that though. Technically speaking, yeah, you could press delete account and then it'd be all gone. And then the people that knew you would be like, wait, I haven't seen their stream in a while, and try to look for you and then not find you and be like so confused.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, it's not a kind thing to do, but when you're in the pits, like I said, I get a very strong urge to just vanish. Just like disappear. Not like end it, not like suicidal, just like fade out of existence, And so that can be kind of tempting. But like I said, it's also like the biggest source of my mental stability overall. So like it would be a horrible decision to actually go through on that at any point.
Yeah, absolutely. So then the opposite question is, what keeps you going? What kind of things keep you going?
I like to do meditations or distractions of various types. I'm a person who seeks a lot of distractions. Again, possibly partially ADD, partially I have drug-seeking tendencies. But I find my distractions. I like to, as a friend of mine puts it, rabbit hole really hard. So I'll get into a topic on YouTube, and I'll watch an entire YouTube series back to back, the entire episodic thing in a week.
Right.
And then I'll just move on to a new topic. And just it's like I was talking about streaming being a good source of keeping your brain active. It's the same thing with learning a topic on YouTube. The whole point is just continuous brain activity, because I find the less I have to think about, the more the depression kicks in.
I agree completely. One of the biggest quote unquote like cures or treatments for depression is having things that you look forward to, and planning your life, being very future focused. Because thinking in the present and thinking in the past can be a very it's a depressing activity to do. Well, not in the present necessarily, but in the past a lot of times, which then affects your present, because it's like presently I'm thinking about the past and how I fucked up, and hey, remember that one situation in third grade and it was super embarrassing and everyone laughed at you? Yeah, think about that, and that's exactly why you're an awful person and no one wants to talk to you
The
ever
one
again.
that only you remember and was
Only you
deleted
remember.
from everyone else's memory because it wasn't
Right.
important enough. But for you, it's
But for you,
traumatic forever.
it's the worst thing that
Yeah.
ever could have happened. Focus on that forever. It's just like, could you shut up, Brain? And Brain's like, no, fuck you.
Pretty much.
Brains are assholes.
A lot of the time.
But yeah, that's why, looking ahead to the future and being like, okay, what is my future? You know,
And that's
It's a great
something
way.
that streaming
Great exercise.
provides very naturally. Everyone always has events going on. So either you or a friend or, someone else is having some great event. There's some great charity. There's a streamathon. There's a subathon. Someone decided to do a cooking challenge. There's always something happening. So you always can keep... I don't want to say synthetically putting that out there, but, you can keep having that thing to look forward to, even if it's just something
no,
that
but
you
I
and your
agree
streaming
with
friends
you.
are
I
doing.
agree with you. Because especially if you're just like very, very deep in your depression,
Mm-hmm.
you can find really nice comfort in looking forward to even the silliest of things. Maybe what's something like maybe silly in your mind to like be excited about. But if it's important to, it's important to, is my personal take on that, Like if you're really excited about like Polythemus's next stream where they're gonna, do pixel art, and it's like, well, yeah, I do want to see that next stream. I don't want to see what she creates next, then I gotta stick around for that, Now, obviously, I'm talking more kind of like the suicidal ideation, like really, really deep depression stuff. But even still, like anything can be a reason to live, and anything can be a reason to keep going, and keep doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. And I learned long ago that depression hits peaks and then it dies back off. So, like, I know
Yes.
that there's an end point now, and maintaining
Yeah.
that knowledge that it will pass,
This too
is
shall pass.
really critical. Really, really critical.
It's
So
really important.
if you have like a near goal, so not like a 5 year from now goal, but like
Right.
in a week I'm doing a streamathon, and you're in a depression spiral, but you've already learned that depression spirals end. You can be like, I can use this as like a marker. So like by the time this event happens, then my depression should be gone. And you can be like, okay, let's time this out. Let's keep going. We have
Sure.
our pacing. I used to be a cross country runner, so I like to
Yeah.
picture it like a race, like a 5K.
It's cool.
So like you're plotting your way through it, all the way through, all the way through, and then there's the kick at the end, and it's like the kick is that really really bad day right before the storm clears,
Right.
and you got to be ready for the kick. And once you're through, you're through.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I love that you have all this stuff for yourself. And so in a way, it sounds like streaming for you has been like, kind of net positive.
Yeah,
Wise.
I think overall it is probably the best thing for me at this point in my life.
And that's the most encouraging thing. Really.
Mhm.
That's great. I love that. Let me think. What has been your highlight? What's been your highest moment within streaming?
My highest moment.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely a contender is the recent trans charity event we had.
Right. It's a huge one.
Raising $3,000, like I did not expect that from our community. Like, okay, so we set up an initial goal of $200,
Mhm.
which I even thought at the time like $200 is probably too low, but I was expecting like $500. I wasn't expecting $3,000. So seeing all of our like perceivably small communities coming together and being able to pull that much, like that is a huge heartwarming moment to be like, I'm a part of this now, you know? That was a really good one for sure.
I agree completely, and I think this also speaks to like how content creation and streaming kind of, uh, you know, setting expectations is something that's like really hard, if not impossible to do. Um, so I just try not to, because you never know. You don't know what people's, you know, situations are. You don't know who exactly is listening to your stream. You know, you don't know anything about that. But, you know, what you do know is what you put out. And if you put out a cause that people are really, really passionate about, and, you know, they happen to be in a position where they can help other people and they want to help this cause, then they might just go ahead and do it. And that's how that happens. You know, that's really how that happens, especially with charity. It's just like, you never know. You never know who's listening.
It's
You
just one
never
of those
know.
things where like you just have to put it out there in the first place.
Exactly.
It's like you can't win the lottery without buying a ticket, and
Pretty much.
you know,
Exactly.
God can't let you be president if you never like apply to be the president. Like
Yeah,
you gotta take a step in the first place, you know? Like no matter
absolutely.
what your belief system is.
And even just, and again, you know, pressing start stream
Yep.
can be the
Something that
hardest
simple.
thing. And something that simple. And again, you have no way to know if, you know, today's stream is going to be really great, because it could be.
And it has that same lottery aspect to it. Like
Right.
a few other people have mentioned this. I've been watching the other
Mm-hmm.
people throughout, but they've mentioned the process of like, no matter how hard you work, there is just an element of chance to this.
There is.
So like a lot of the time, you just have to go live often enough that you get that random person who was looking for a new person to raid, vibed with your thing, and dropped the 70-person raid on you out of nowhere, and you're like, I
Right.
don't know what just happened, but my community just doubled. Like it could be just it could happen anytime. You never know. But
Yeah,
like
I agree.
if you never go live, it's never gonna happen.
Very true. Very true. I think luck is chance, but I feel like there's also a bit of a skill to it. And I think the skill to it is in part marketing, but it's also in part knowing how to conduct yourself, you know, say so to speak.
Mhm.
You know, which is just like try to be as consistent as possible. End of the day, you know, that's how you attract people. Is like you're just unashamedly you. You're unashamedly, you know, you are what you are, and you know you showcase what you do. Like I've seen raid videos. I've been wanting to kind of make a raid video, but I feel like it just wouldn't have the same feel if I did, you know, because it's chaos.
I do like that about streaming. It's one of the few places that rewards you for that kind of individuality and being
Absolutely.
you specifically. Like, I feel like I was punished for that always growing up. Like,
Right.
first it's by your parents because they're like, you do what we say. And then
Right.
it's by the church because you do what God says. And then it's by the school because you do what the school says.
God,
And
I
then it's
never
the
did what any of
government.
those people said.
And I just got in trouble over and over and over again.
Right.
Because I can't just follow something I don't believe in, like inherently. Like some of the stupidest things I got in trouble for, I would get sent to the principal because I wouldn't put my hand over my heart for the Pledge of Allegiance or stand up. Because I was like, I refuse to pledge allegiance to this, you know, blob-like entity that I don't think actually has anything out for me beneficially.
Yep.
And it's just cool that just being you is actually a good thing now.
It is, and I love it. As shitty as Twitch is sometimes, God bless the concept of streaming and meeting cool people.
I very firmly believe, though, that, like, to a great extent, you control your experience on Twitch. Like I've had a couple hate raids.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. You know, these things happen. But overall, like when I raid into someone, like
Mhm.
I have a great raid experience. When I'm
That's awesome.
streaming, I have a great experience. Like I rarely have people dropping Joker stuff, and I think it's because you cultivate the people that follow you.
Absolutely, you do. Absolutely. I big agree with that. I think you can definitely like control how you respond to different things that happen within Twitch. Like obviously you can't prevent absolutely everything, but you can try to have a little bit of margin of control over like how you respond. And respond, not react, although a lot of people just react, which is reasonable, you know? But it's unfortunately it becomes a skill that you learn of how to take pause and respond to something. So if like we get a hate raid, like I know how to respond as opposed to just react. Although my gut reaction nowadays is just to laugh.
Yeah, I'm glad that for the most part they seem to have faded away, but I still have a one-click button to like
as you
completely clear and kill my chat in a second. Just like no.
As you should, because hate raids will probably be around until the end of time. There will always be people, there will always be new methods. That's the unfortunate task of internet security, is that it's a forever race to find all the potential loopholes that your program has before, you know, bad actors find them first and exploit them.
I do have to very strongly resist adding like flair to the button though. Like a lot of the time you want to add like those little things, you know, like add like a slap animation or like shoe fly, don't bother me. You know, like something to like really play it up, like, you know, go away, like I'm not afraid of you. But like again, you don't want to react and give them what they want, you know? So I very intentionally make it just shut down and clear everything, and then we just move on like nothing happened. Like it is the most non-event, like we just don't even recognize you thing, and my mods know to just ban them and walk away.
Yep. Pretty much same. Pretty much same. Anyway, it's been lovely talking with you.
Yeah, I think I definitely, you know, rabbit holed a few different times, but I think we mostly stayed on topic.
Okay. I don't honestly, I'm surprised that we stayed on topic.
I don't think we ever stay on topic when you and I talk.
I never stay on topic as myself, and then us together is just fucking the brain cells are just clashing.
Right. Always a good time though. Definitely invite me back again.
Sure, sometime. Interesting username. Unresponsive assassin.
Oh, that's a good friend of mine.
Okay.
We're actually going to be doing a party game night after I log out of here.
I love that. All right, have fun with party games, okay?
Yep, have a good one, Waba.
Thank you so much.
Good night, chat.
Say good night to Polly, everyone. All right, good night, bye.
Come catch Waba live only on Twitch.